Thought Cops presents Escape from Neo-Chicago, a live Thought Cops event.
Thursday, August 26th at the Lincoln Lodge Theater in Neo-Chicago. Join the Thought Cops Kevin and Grant with special guest deputies Brandon Kirkman and Martin Felshman for a night of irony-poisoned alternative comedy forged from the darkest corners of the internet.
Tickets are $10.
Ticket link in the episode description. Welcome to Thought Cops, the only podcast where every week we police the mean streets of the internet because, hey, somebody's got to do it. And then we let you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in the court of public opinion. Coming to you live from Neo-Chicago, I am Officer Kevin.
I'm Officer Grant. Hey, here's a good idea. I'm gonna take one of these green squirt guns and shoot myself in the head before you shoot me in the head.
You're scared of me, aren't you?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Grant, this is a historic moment, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little bit sentimental, because this is the last time we're recording in this room. We've been recording in this room for the better part of 4.5 years, aside from a good chunk of the pandemic.
Right.
And you'll be moving soon, so we'll have to record in a different bedroom. We're moving on up, folks. We're upgrading after, a lot of hard work and time and effort put in. We've decided to move on to a different bedroom to record in.
Right, exactly. As you do.
And if you're wondering, I want to see this one last time. I got to see what these guys are talking about. Head on over to YouTube and search for Thought Cops.
Yeah, there it is.
Because all the video episodes do go up on there as well, so you get an added element to the show. Before you're just listening, now you can see, you can hear us, and then soon enough it's going to be like the Shrek 4D experience at Universal Studios, where you can smell if we're passing gas or whatever nasty stuff they had in there.
I've never been.
Yeah, never been there?
No.
I think I think Shrek farts.
That's wild.
I think they spray water on you at some point.
From Shrek's ass, or?
I think so, yeah. He's like, and he says like something like, oh, yeah, that was a beefy bowl of chili I had earlier.
Let's go ahead and thank last week's guest, DJ Doug Pound.
Thank you, Doug, for putting up with this.
Monumental.
And let's give a warm welcome to a brand new guest to the show. Let's get on with this crap. Let's just say hello and welcome to Merritt K. How are you, Merritt?
I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on.
It is our pleasure. Merritt, you are a podcaster, a writer, and a generally pleasant presence on Twitter, I would say.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because
absolutely.
Today I was thinking, wow, I'm really abrasive on Twitter. I should post less. Like I should just step back from the platform. But this has encouraged me to redouble my efforts. So
double down, post more. I think that every poster has that moment where they think to themselves. Every responsible poster has that moment where they think to themselves,
yeah,
maybe I should pull back. And the answer is always no.
Right.
But yeah, you are also the self-described president of podcasts at Fanbyte. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about Fanbyte too. So it's sort of like a video game website, a hub of articles, podcasts, all different kinds of content based around the thing we all love and grew up with, video games.
Yeah. So, I mean, it started as a gaming site. It's kind of expanded at this point. Like I edit a lot of movie reviews, so we're doing that kind of stuff. It is owned by Tencent, so there is that. But also, the nice thing about being owned by a Chinese mega corporation is that we're such a small line item on their budget that no one over there knows what the hell we're doing.
That's awesome.
And so it never comes in. It's like in the States, if you're owned by some VC, they're trying to micromanage. They're trying to turn a quick profit on some publication. Tencent doesn't know what we're doing ever. So a lot of people hate Tencent, and like there are reasons to be sus of them for sure. But,
yeah, I would agree. But
yeah,
it's a paycheck.
But it is a paycheck. So.
Hey, Tencent, if you're listening, Grant and I would love to perhaps, if you want to sponsor maybe even a bigger bedroom to record in.
Maybe throw us a cent. How about that? Huh?
I know you got at least 10 lying around.
A dime or two. Yeah, that sounds interesting that the website sort of has expanded, because I know that you seem to have like your fingers in a lot of different things with like some of the articles you've written, some of the podcasts you've worked on and stuff like that. It seems like you have a very broad depth of like things that you've worked on, and just like different topics and things that you're interested in that have all sort of like, you know, created the work that you've done. This is a terrible question. We're terrible interviewers.
We're getting really bad at this.
I think we've gotten worse.
I think we need a change of scenery.
I think so, maybe.
And I really think that's just going to fix everything. So, to be clear, that was a question, though?
Well, that was just a statement. But I guess the question is, so I think one of the things that you've sort of been focusing on a little more, is this sort of your baby, your project, the K-hole world that seems to have evolved out of a couple different things that you've been doing?
Yeah, that's definitely like my most self-indulgent kind of project. So the problem with doing a lot of things and kind of being like easily bored and flighty is that the only thing people know me for is my Twitter account, which is like one of the most mortifying things in the world when you like meet someone in public and they're like, "Oh, I loved your posts," and it's like, this I recognize. The K-hole started as kind of a continuation of a podcast I used to do, which was called Woodland Secrets, which was a weird name, but basically that was just an interview show. The K-hole, we did 30 episodes of it as an interview show. We had like a bunch of really cool people on it. Actually, I think some people that you guys have had on as well.
I was going to say we had some crossover.
Yeah, we had. I had Justin Wang on a couple months ago. Felix from Chapo was on a little while ago. So yeah, that's on hiatus right now. It's coming back in Q4, probably in a totally different form. Because it's just my weird little project that I get to do whatever I want with. And
are you guys moving to a new bedroom too?
I'm staying in my bedroom. I think my producer Jordan Mallory, I think he has moved to a different bedroom. So,
hey, people are doing it.
Moving on up.
Yeah. Leases are up and whatnot.
Yeah, he was living in a tiny house, actually. So he didn't even have a bedroom. It was just like one room. So now he has multiple rooms, which is very exciting.
Fancy.
More places to put your stuff. Yeah, speaking of like just the number of different things that you've been doing, how do you prioritize some of the things? Because I know that I also struggle with that, and Kevin probably to a certain extent too, but I can't speak on his
never
behalf.
Struggle ever.
Never mind. But like how do you prioritize some of the things you decide to work on? I think is interesting.
It's like, I don't know, everyone has their own system, right? Like I actually got really like normie about it recently and bought like a productivity book and was just like reading through all this stuff that like tech bros were really into 10 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I am in a...
Was it one of those books where they're like how to kick ass and fuck life?
Thankfully it wasn't that. It wasn't like epic gamer stuff, but it was just like, just like, here's how to like get things done. It's actually called Getting Things Done. And so that's helped, just having a system of like organizing stuff. And, I don't know. I have a lot of lists. I keep a lot of lists of like just basically anything.
It does
I
help.
think the most important thing really is just like whenever you have a thought about like anything that you want to do something with, like something that you have to take action on, you just like make a note of it. Like either you write it down or you put it in like, like an app or something. Like literally
I struggle with that though, because to be transparent to everybody, yes, I do sometimes struggle. I'm sorry I lied earlier.
That's so brave.
Because I have... Thank you. But I have, I have all these like fleeting thoughts and things I want to like, oh, this would be a good idea for something, or this is like something I have to take care of. And I have my, my notes app in my iPhone, and there's just like hundreds of notes there's no organization. Yeah. I don't know what's in there. And it's just like, I'll write it down. But
what you got to do, so you're doing the first part, which is capturing stuff. But then what you got to do is process it. So then you like go through all of your stuff and break it down into like tasks and projects. And I'm a total dork about this. But it's like so...
no, I'm listening. I need this.
It's so helpful. Yeah, I know. Just devoting like a whole weekend to just like, okay, I'm going to brain dump everything I have in my head from like oh, I need to like put this furniture together to like, I need to do this project. And then you just try and like split it up into projects and like think about like, what is the next thing I need to do to make this happen?
Okay.
And none of this is very funny. It's just sort of how I organize things.
This is I always build this as a talk show first, and if comedy happens, you don't want to force the comedy.
It's edutainment, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what was the term you used?
Was that?
No, I thought you called it entermation.
Entermation
or something like that.
Because infotainment versus information. No, that's
whatever the fuck it
that's
was.
Nathan Massry of the Garfield.
Oh my
Eats,
god!
Coined.
Oh my god! I am obsessed.
I
with
think
him.
he coined.
What's going on with that now?
Okay, so last time I checked, he had switched to the Scooby-Doo license.
Yes, Scooby-Doo.
So he had rebranded.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he had, which like it doesn't even make sense because like it's like still lasagna. It's like Garfield eats lasagna.
Right.
What does Scooby-Doo eat? Huge sandwiches. I think
like 10-foot tall hoagies.
Right.
Maybe Shaggy just eats those. I think Scooby-Doo does though. But like, so why are you selling this lasagna as Scooby-Doo? Like, I don't know. He also, if you haven't seen any of his film work, you really, really need to. It's fascinating. He has a short film about him running into an Arab man, and them getting into a big thing about Jews versus Arabs at the grocery store. And it's treated with.
And this is the guy handling the Scooby-Doo property. You got to be kidding me.
They just don't do any vetting anymore. It's ridiculous. Yeah. No, but he's such a fascinating guy. He also wrote an autobiography. I forget what it's called, but I know.
I think he's also super young too, isn't he? He's like 28 years. I think he's younger than me.
Yeah, he basically is like a fail son, whose dad just like keeps funding his dumbass ideas, and just like is not allowed to fail, basically, because
that'd be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? I mean, would it be? Because then you might be like him, and we'd all be like laughing. But he's probably having a great time.
You would never learn. But I do have to ask though, what happened to the Garfield license? Why did he have to jump over to Scooby-Doo?
I think he just went under on it. I think COVID had a lot to do with it. I think they closed the restaurant and they still tried to make it a thing, but it just fizzled.
No, yeah.
I thought it was a bunch of hired goons showed up. They're like, yeah, we're here on behalf of Jim Davis, sir.
Oh, yeah, like, no. It's like, he's such a fascinating case study of like, what would happen if like a possibly schizophrenic man was, instead of, like most schizophrenic people having like no support and ending up on the streets or whatever, was just given unlimited amounts of money. And what would happen is you would get a restaurant with, in Comic Sans, the text, "Love me, feed me, don't leave me," huge, taking up most of the sign, and then Garfield eats in the corner.
Incredible.
An amazing social experiment.
It just makes me feel good to be an actual failure and not a fail son, Like, at least I can take pride in that,
Grant,
right?
you are not a failure because we have a live show coming up very soon.
What?
And this is the last time I'm going to fucking mention it, okay, guys?
Well, yeah, because it's next week.
That's right. And
if you're listening, in Chicago, buy tickets.
If you're listening to it on Tuesday when this comes out, it's this week, and you have so little time to fix your problem by not buying a ticket. And go on, check out the episode description. You can buy a ticket. There's a link there. We couldn't have made it a whole lot easier for you, okay? If you don't show up, that is your problem.
Fuck the fans.
Yeah, fuck.
Or Google Escape from Neo Chicago. It's like the first.
You are so proud of that fact.
Yeah, it's good SEO practice.
So we have a live show coming up called Thought Cops Escape from Neo Chicago. And I guess if you Google the specific phrase Escape from Neo Chicago, we're the only thing that pops up. And Grant is just over the moon about this fact.
Yeah, we hit this one out of the ballpark.
I just don't think that many people are Googling that phrase.
They should be.
Well, I guess that's one way to find it. If you don't want to use the link, Google Escape from Neo Chicago. You find it. The show's on Thursday, August 26th at 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Lodge in Logan Square in Chicago, Illinois. I don't know the zip code. I want to say 60647, but I could be wrong. Please don't.
It doesn't matter.
If you show up at the wrong location, I'm so sorry. If you show up at a different zip code, Same. Actually, you know what? That did happen. Our friend did plug in the wrong Lincoln Lodge at the last live show we did. And like he showed up like 45 minutes late because
how many Lincoln Lodges are there?
Remember, there was an old location, remember? At like Under the Gun Theater or whatever it was. So he ended up all the way up in Lakeview or something.
That's not 45 minutes away.
I don't know. I wasn't. However long it was, don't make the same mistake that he made. Don't make a mistake. Show up at the live show because we got Brandon Kirkman, we got Martin Felshman, and oh yeah, that's right, Martin's making cookies for everybody, and they're all going to be individually wrapped, so you don't have to worry about cooties or COVID.
Well, even though but even if they are wrapped, like when you got Halloween candy as a kid, like if it was like a cookie, that's definitely got like cyanide or razor blades in it, right?
Yeah, razor blades, yeah.
But it's like, okay, I want to add to the promise we gave last time. We promised last time if you come to the show, you will not get a disease. The cookies will not have razor blades in them or any kind of poison, please.
Your vaccine won't be just saline.
We're not going to vaccinate the guests.
Well, no, I'm saying if you're vaccinated to come to the show, that's a German. Yeah, this episode really isn't that funny yet.
I'm having fun.
Maybe in the future.
Wait, what was the saline injection thing?
Funny.
Who is injecting?
There was a nurse in Germany that fake vaccinated like hundreds, if not thousands, of people with just saline.
That's okay. So that's really fucked up because that saline could have been used to make people's balls bigger.
Grant literally just did a spit take.
No, I didn't literally.
Oh, well, the audience would have.
Sort of.
They would have liked to have thought that you did.
Right. Yeah, I didn't actually, but.
And maybe Merritt would have felt better if knowing the joke.
Oh, actually, I did do a spit take. Just kidding.
For those of you listening and not watching, he spit up all over the place, and it was epic.
It's disgusting. I think
anyway,
if you inject saline in your balls, though, I think that can like fuck with your hormones or something.
I don't think it's good for you.
Sound healthy,
but people do it. People
don't put salt in your balls, people. I'm not fucking around with this.
I don't know. All I'm telling you is I know people do it. I had a friend who was really obsessed with like the whole subculture. I'm sure there is a term for it. I don't know what it is, but no, people do it.
Ball baggers, they're called.
Wow.
I don't know I don't think that's true.
Now, I wouldn't do silicone. Liquid Grant in the chat is saying some people do silicone. I wouldn't put free silicone in your body. That doesn't tend to end well.
No. Speaking of things not tending to end well, we have a new Fire Bros episode.
What do you mean it ended well, or it didn't end well?
We ended by talking about Space Jam 2.
Oh, no.
Space Jam, a new legacy.
End well at all. You don't have to correct me on that.
Well, if
everybody knows what Space Jam 2 is.
It's just disrespectful to the people who made the movie.
You're right.
By calling it the wrong name.
Space Jam, I think you should leave season 2. The Green Knight, and one more. Another round.
Yes. We reviewed 4 different pieces of media with our friend Josh, a.k.a. Sleep Science. That's up now. Head on over to patreon.com/thoughtcops because for a measly $2, you get that episode and all of the other ones we did. That is so much content for $2. And if you like it,
it's too much content.
You can keep the subscription going. Give us $2 every month for the rest of your life. It helps us out a lot, not the rest of your life, however long you want. You can cancel it right away if you want to. That's fine. I won't judge you. But check it out. It was a lot of fun. We didn't watch Space Jam for nothing. We did it for you, the listeners.
Merritt, did you watch Space Jam?
I did not watch Space Jam.
Good, don't.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it. I have been really getting into like going back to theaters, but mostly just been seeing like repertory stuff. I want to see The Green Knight. I haven't done it yet, but yeah, Space Jam looked kind of like just grim, like
not great. No, did you watch those clips on Twitter at least?
Yeah, just really, really like grim and like depressing.
Yeah,
It's a lot worse when you're experiencing
first
person in front of your eyeballs.
Oh,
if you're gonna watch it though, like
do some drugs.
Do drugs. Yeah, do whatever you can just to knock yourself out. Be with some friends and to be like, yeah, I was kind of there, you know.
Yeah.
I think I saw a basketball. Anyway, let's move on to a very famous, very favorite segment of the show called 2 Minutes of Hate. where we like to blanket punish all that annoying random crap. What the fuck was that?
That's actually my 2 minutes of hate this week.
You want to go first?
Yeah, actually, fuck it. I'll go first.
That never happens.
Usually
Why did that go off?
It's been doing it more and more recently. You didn't even say its name, but my 2 minutes of hate this week.
She who shall not be named.
She who shall not be named. When videos and certain things that I'm watching on television or anything else, when it triggers my Amazon Echo device. We all know the name of the Amazon Echo device. I'm really misspeaking today. We all know the name of the Amazon Echo device. Anytime it thinks it hears its name, it's gotta speak up. It scares the shit out of me. I'll be watching TikTok videos in bed at 2 a.m. and I'll just hear, "I'm sorry, I didn't pick that up. Could you please repeat that?" And it's like, Jesus Christ, that's the loudest thing I've ever heard. It's 2 a.m. It's terrifying. Just a random woman's voice in my apartment speaking to me at 2 a.m.
Nightmarish.
Horrifying.
Merritt, do you have one of these spying devices in your home?
Yeah, no, I just put a box in my house that has a direct line to Jeff Bezos's computer, and he can look directly into my home at all times.
Yeah, he uses that robot eye that he has.
Yeah, exactly. No, God, I don't. I mean, like, of course, I have a phone. I have, I'm online, so everyone everyone already knows where I am. So I don't know why that to me is like a step too far, but like it just feels like I have to make a stand somewhere, and it's like, no, not in my name, not in my home.
Yeah.
I don't even like using Siri.
Do you guys ever turn your phones off, like, for any chunks of the day?
I feel like I did that once and I got yelled at for it, and I never did it again.
I should.
What,
I really should.
Someone you're dating or something? Or family?
Either family or something like that. I can't even remember.
Because I turned my phone off for the first time in a long time the other day because I was watching the new Evangelion movie and I didn't want to be distracted.
That's if you're seeing a movie. That's
fair.
Fair.
That's the kind of reverent situation that you need to turn your phone off for.
Yeah, I was like, I should do this more often, but like this feels like it deserves my full attention, and I don't want to And it was so nice. I was like, there were some times like I did pick up my phone just to like check the time or like see if anybody texted me.
Right.
And there was just nothing. Nothing came up, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I like that.
Okay, so conversely though, I was at a movie last weekend. I went to see Friday the 13th on Saturday the 14th at midnight.
Oh, appropriate.
Yeah. And it was a midnight showing and small theater, not that many people there. And my seat was like in the back row, like with hardly anyone around me. So I got to experience the pleasure of using your phone at the theater because it's not like anyone could see the light. It was just like, wow, I hate when people do this. It's terrible, but like it's not affecting anyone. I can tweet about the movie while I'm watching it.
But did you get kind of like a thrill from that?
I did.
Because I feel like that would be like weirdly exciting.
Yeah, no, it was.
So
it felt like I was getting away with something.
Sort of.
It was like how I would feel when I was younger about sneaking in booze to a movie, which now is you can just buy booze at the movies now. So whatever, but like that's the one thing they won't let you do. I mean, there's probably a few things, but
yeah, maybe.
I still sneak booze into a movie theater. I don't care.
It's cheaper.
I'm not paying for anything. I don't have any money.
That's fair. I mean, I think, sneak whatever you want into a movie theater.
Not whatever you want, but
not a gun.
Anything that.
I want to bring Grant's Alexa.
No,
to the theater.
Don't invoke its name. Do you know how annoying it is to have a sister whose name is nearly Alexa and to be talking on the phone with her or about her to other family, and that fucking thing's going off in the middle of my phone calls?
And it's probably like alerting her, like, yeah, hey, Alexis, your family thinks this about you behind your back.
Dox my sister.
Oh, give me a break.
We have different last names, whatever. Nobody. Anyway, my punishment is shit. What's a good punishment for these things? Do we office space it? Take it out to the middle of a field and
I mean, if we can't think of anything,
with a baseball
we
bat?
do have a wheel.
No, I like the office space punishment.
Okay.
A Dilbert text in the chat, or Ratbert text in the chat.
There's
always,
a Ratbert?
Well, that's what.
No, I know that's what he's called, but like I knew there was a dog
I don't
Bert
know.
and a Dilbert and a cat Bert, but
he's always quick to point out that when I'm shaven that I look like the guy from Office Space. So I feel like it's fitting.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my punishment.
Okay, Merritt, anything bothering you? Anything you'd like to get off your chest?
I mean, I know that I know you want to talk about this later on more, but like this week especially has just been like adults on TikTok talking with like that really specific cadence. It's like,
yeah, we can get into it now and like elaborate more on the specific stuff because
yeah.
So I really hate this
it's
too.
It's just like what is the matter? Like how did this happen? And all I can think, and people were trying to explain it to me or trying to come up with reasons, and the most compelling one I can think is that they're trying to imitate the 20-year-old girls on the platform. Because, you know, for reasons that could range from just trying to like fit in and become viral to more nefarious stuff. But like, it's just unlistenable. It's like, I feel like it's like some kind of like psychic warfare when I hear it. Like, unbearable.
And we'll get to some prime examples of that later.
Yeah.
But you did have a good post on Twitter the other day about like wanting to rub the soy face lotion all over
TikTok
which,
the soy face cleanser from Fresh. Just like, my God, it's, you don't have okay, so TikTok, like I'm not one of those people who thinks like, oh, TikTok is just all cringe, because there is like actual funny stuff happening on there. Like it's sort of
me
right. It's like continuing the legacy of Vine in some ways, but like
sure.
But I feel like Vine didn't have this kind of stuff on it. Maybe it did, and I'm just like romanticizing it, but like truly abhorrent behavior, ejection from society, buried in Funko Pops, I think is the only true justice. At first I thought
that does feel like a good punishment.
At first I thought take away the Funko Pops, but I think it's more ironic if you have, you love Funko Pops? How about 10,000 Funko Pops?
Right, and that goes into, like, on our wheel back here, we have different categories of punishments, and that would fall in line with smoke the whole pack.
Ah, yes,
in which, you like your Funko Pops, huh? Why don't you try getting buried alive in them? I wouldn't like that, you know? Obviously, who would?
Yeah, I feel like the tone of voice that you're talking about is similar in a sense to, like, almost like a modern radio voice, you know?
Yeah, except like not warm or, like, charming,
right,
or like engaging.
I just feel like it's supposed to be like, I guess the modern version of that, where, you know, you have like this one specific accent that people use in media that like just cuts through all the noise and gets the point across. And, you know, back 20, 30 years ago, that used to be this, and we all used to talk like this when we were on the radio.
So you're saying
now
oh my God.
See, I missed that. I
tried to do it.
So Grant, you're saying that
TikTok
this
voice killed me.
TikTok voice is like the new transatlantic accent.
I mean, beyond
like everybody used to talk kind of like Frasier or Leo the Incredible back in the olden days.
That was one of them.
That was one of them.
Just
but there was another one which was like the man with the golden voice style. I don't remember his name, but that guy who was pretty famous.
Yeah,
like,
the sultry sounding.
And yeah, do radio people, like radio DJs talk like that now? Do they talk like TikTokers?
Oh God, I don't know. Did we put radio DJs out of business? Did millennials kill the radio DJ industry?
They still exist. There's a pizza place that's by my work that like plays whatever shitty radio station, and there's still like morning zoo hosts that are still out there, still talking like this.
And God bless them.
And yeah, I think that the TikTok voice is just an evolution of that. Just like, we're all talking like this now. And it's like, dude, just calm down. You're in your room by yourself. Lower your tone of voice.
And it's like, it's not even like the way that, not only the way they talk, but it's like, and we'll be showing a video later that will exemplify this more, but how whenever they're trying to prove a point, it's like that guy who did that fucking the sea shanties video on TikTok.
How they shove the camera in their face and there's weird zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah, they're always like this.
Yeah.
so you're a bad person if you think this, or like,
And then like the rapid
Or, like-
cuts and like all of the stuff that's like, it's so off-putting. Like
it cuts back like this constantly.
I wonder if I talked like that, if I'd get more views on some of my videos. I really do wonder.
See,
there was a lot
maybe I
of-
should
there have
weaponize
to
it.
be people who are mercenary about it, who know that it sucks, but are like, this is what I have to do to build my platform. But you have to ask if the ends justify the means in that case. And
Could you sleep at
Right.
night, Grant?
I don't think that I could. I seriously don't. Not if people thought that I was actually like that. I'm not risking that.
It's not worth it, man. Don't do it. Got a whole life ahead of you.
Yeah. So, I guess punishment, death by Funko. Kevin, what's your 2 minutes
I
of
like
hate
that.
this
I like
week?
that. I forgot. Let me pull up the doc. Hold on. I do have one. Hold on.
Clearing your throat in public, is that you?
That was, I guess I'll do that one.
Or is it my
Folks!
fall plans versus the Delta variant? Is that you?
No.
No.
Wait, no, that was me too. Fuck. They're both. Well, okay. I was
Flip
gonna
a
do.
coin.
I was gonna do the my fall plans versus the Delta variant, but as of
That was
this,
like 2 days ago.
I was gonna say
we're
even
done with
as
that.
of like now with this recording, and by the time this comes out, it's already ancient history. So it's like,
Right.
do I even want to talk about it? It was stupid. Yes. Did I participate? Yes. But it's not relevant anymore. So yeah, I'll say clearing your throat in public. I know
Cool.
it's not really internet related, but again,
No.
it doesn't. It's established that it doesn't matter that much.
Sure.
So I feel afraid to clear my throat in public, especially when I'm indoors somewhere. Like the other day, I was eating at a restaurant and I was taking a sip of water and the water went down the wrong pipe. And
Classic mistake.
I just sat there silently, like tearing up in pain. Like I couldn't even feel, I didn't even feel safe to cough without scaring people. Because it's like you get that gulp where it's like, and you got to
Right.
cough. And I was just like, probably looked like I was crying in the corner by myself.
And like when you suppress a cough, it just makes you want to cough more.
Right. And I was like holding it in, like, I have to do this for the family in here. They don't want to feel scared of me. I don't want to make someone scared of me. I'm not a monster. So I sat there and I was just like, I want to clear my throat so bad, or just cough once. Just one good hearty cough and then be done with it.
You got to go to the bathroom to do that.
I couldn't. It was happening. I was mildly choking and I felt like I couldn't fucking do a thing about it.
Wow. So you would rather almost die than suffer social indignity?
That's just the kind of
No,
guy
I think
am.
I'm absolutely the same way. Like, yeah, I don't understand people who are able to prioritize like being a normal person over just like, no, I can't possibly do this because then someone might look at me and I will be ashamed.
Right. And even like walking on the sidewalk, if I cough for reasons completely unrelated to COVID, I'll see somebody like walking towards me and they pull off the mask and it's like, listen, I get it. I'm not offended, but I just...
See, I feel the exact opposite way as
Why?
both of you do. I don't know. Just because I don't care what people think
You
of
don't
me.
care,
though.
or-
That's
I used to
good.
care. I used to care so much, and I just let it go. I
You
just
shouldn't care. Because here's the secret
mean-
with this stuff is like, I mean, it's a little different with COVID and like people are weird about it, but like the secret with all this stuff is that like everyone is walking around doing the exact same thing. People are not as
Right.
interested in you as you are. No one is paying that much attention
Right.
to you, like, especially if you live in a big city. So like people get so in their heads about this and then it's like, no one fucking cares, dude. Like, it
exactly.
doesn't matter.
I will say though, there have been times where I have been in public and this is a more severe example, but I'll like someone just like snotting up a loogie and be,
Well,
in
yeah,
public.
they're called
And
psychopaths.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that
there's
to me
limits,
feels
right?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that to
They-
me feels like a step too far. And that's like, yeah, maybe that is inappropriate to do right now. And it's like, that's what I feel like I'm doing in a time when I'm just mildly
Yeah.
choking, which I'm kind of like jumping the gun to like think of myself like, oh yeah, I'm just like that one guy who was,
I mean,
threw up
yeah,
in his mouth.
You do have to make distinctions, you
Yeah,
know,
I
but
think
yeah, I
so.
mean, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, everybody's got things going on. Like here's a good example. I was walking around furniture shopping the other day with my girlfriend, and we were in this furniture store, and I had an empty coffee cup, and I just like walked around the back of the desk without like asking anybody to work there, like, hey, can I throw this out? I just like walked around and like threw my coffee cup out. And that, like, she was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just ask a person. And I'm like, I didn't feel like it. And it's like, you know, yeah, am I an asshole? Yeah, probably. But also, like, we live in a big city, and there was probably a guy that, like, you know, walked in off the street and threw up all over the floor, like, yesterday. So it's like, this compared to that, I don't know. I don't think anybody cares, you know? Like, what? They only care because they think that they should care.
It's just like this specific...
It's the same thing.
This
it's
specific...
the same thing.
Listen, man, I will throw my coffee cup into whatever I can find. Don't get me wrong. It's just the specific COVID panic, especially right now with you got the variants and all this other crap going on. So people are on high alert, especially in these bigger cities.
Well, we got another mask mandate tomorrow, so...
Is that starting tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
God fucking
damn
it. I'm mostly just like pissed because it's like, it sucks to wear a mask at the gym. You know
that seems like it would be bad.
I know exactly.
I mean, I don't go to the gym, but I will say, like, so I get it. Like, it sucks, and it's like having to do it is really awful, especially when it's hot out and stuff. At the same time, just like having a societally accepted reason to like not be perceived, I think is like chef kiss. Like, it's like
there are benefits.
It's very good, especially that with sunglasses. It's like 0% of you is showing, and to me that's very, very cool. So I've been wearing a mask all summer, and people are like looking at me like, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to be perceived as one of those people who's just like, you know, like COVID narcs on Twitter over the past year. Sure. I don't want to be seen as one of those people. I don't want people to think I'm judging them for not wearing a mask. I've just gotten used to it, and it just feels like comfortable to me now. Obviously not when it's hard to breathe, but just like not worrying about it. That's half of my face I don't have to think about, you know?
And I guess like if I was wearing a mask in these moments where I was choking or had to cough or something, if I was wearing the mask, maybe somebody, you know, I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, we're shutting the whole restaurant down because of you. You put me out of business.
They're putting you in like that in ET when they have like the FBI come and put ET and Elliot in those big containment things. They're doing that. It's really scary.
I do not want that to happen.
Why would you?
Yeah, I'm at the point with the masks where I'm like trying to seek out like some of the more fashionable ones, because it's like, hey, maybe this is just the future, and maybe we'll all be wearing masks like Bane from Batman, and maybe this is just part of the aesthetic at this point. Like, I don't care that much. It's a piece of cloth that goes over my mouth. I'm not going to go all fucking 1776 on it. It's just a fucking whatever. It looks cool. Like Merritt said, it's like,
you do kind of look like
my face.
You do kind of look like a ninja from Mortal Kombat. So like there is that. Right. But also, I mean, it is frustrating. It is annoying in a lot of ways. So like, I don't begrudge anyone I get so pissed off with something I've seen. I'm going to do an extra 2 minutes of hate here.
Absolutely. Go
people
off.
Who are like, well, in-person events sucked anyway. We shouldn't have conventions anymore. We should just do them all online because like they're more accessible that way, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, just because you're a NEET who never leaves your house doesn't mean other people don't enjoy face-to-face interaction.
True. Right.
There is a case to be made for having online like additions to events so that people can do them, so people can engage in them remotely. But the idea that like, oh, this has just shown us that all in-person big events are terrible. It's like, that's no. You're taking the wrong lesson from this. And,
I would agree. I know Grant and I were talking. We want to get back to cons soon.
Yeah, but, I miss cons and like, punishment. I mean, I don't know. I feel like going to or being in a social situation with face-to-face interaction is punishment enough for some of these people, or just having to actually touch grass. I think. They could be allergic. Oh yeah,
though, I guess you can't say that anymore. You know, allegedly.
Remember
that on Twitter? When like a week after that, like there's like a hot week there where they were like, man, saying touch grass. That's ableist
because disabled people can't go outside.
Yeah.
What? Excuse me?
I love that stuff that comes all the way back around to being like offensive.
And it's typically, I feel like the people doing this stuff are like trying to argue on behalf of someone. They're not, they're making up a hypothetical person, and they don't realize how patronizing it can be. Like in this case,
they're making up a guy.
They're making up a guy, and then they're trying to like defend that guy. But like the real versions of that guy are like, hey, could you fucking chill a little bit?
Seriously.
They're leaving him without a leg to stand on. I don't know what else to say.
Oh boy. Well, we're canceled.
Finally. I feel like now I can let loose. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of letting loose, if you haven't listened to Thought Cops before, every week we investigate the internet's outrage-inducing news story and then sentence each perpetrator to a cruel and sometimes, often, unusual punishment.
Sometimes, often.
Yeah. 60% of the time, all the time. You've seen Anchorman.
Love it. So it's so quotable.
Yeah. Speaking of quotable, why don't we stop chomping on this bit?
Can we do the first? Can we do the one up there first?
Oh, we want to do this one.
Yeah.
All right.
Just because, Merritt, you're involved in the games industry. You write about games, you talk about games, and you love games. There was a video this week that went viral. It's a TikTok that was removed and then re-uploaded to YouTube called All Video Games Need an Easy Mode. So we're going to hear her out here. We're going to see what's up.
This is going to be physically painful, I can tell. I haven't actually watched this, but...
Yeah, I watched like 3 seconds of this and I'm like, yeah, I'll probably watch this on the show, so I'll save my...
Good thinking.
Yeah.
Get a live reaction going. Yeah.
All video games need easy modes. I'm gonna explain. But first, if you're one of those, you're not a real gamer if you play games on easy mode people, you can scoot right along there, Buster. Because listen, I love video games.
Every time.
I'm also very bad at video games. I am a big kid with a big kid job and responsibilities like car payments, and I don't have time to be good at video games. Side note, we are not hating on people that make video games a priority. If being good at video games is one of your priorities, what an excellent way to spend your downtime. I am flabbergasted by your skills. This is not one of my priorities. I have many skills in this life, but beating Hollow Knight mini-bosses is not one of them. I don't want a challenge. Life is hard enough. I want a cool interactive story. So what happens is I get frustrated on a fight I can't beat, and I end up giving up, and I lose out on so much cool story. Video game creators, this is my plea to you.
Just watch it on YouTube.
Watch it on YouTube.
On with the story. Easy modes.
So,
please.
Okay. This is like a perennial debate in games media and games criticism of like, should video games be more accessible? And like, that term gets so confused because it can mean, oh, you can remap the controls, or like, oh, you can turn flashing lights off or something, which are like all easy and useful things that like, or like, oh, color blindness modes. Yeah, these are all like great.
Exactly.
These are all really cool, like different kinds of controllers that let people with motion issues play games that like, if they can't hold like a normally shaped controller, there's like really cool ones now where you can play games. The idea that like difficulty is like the same thing. Like, I have seen people make the argument that, like, oh, Twitch FPS games are ableist because, like, they demand, like, there's only so much you can do with skill. At a certain point, it's just your reflexes and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's true of sports.
That's part of the skill.
That's true of basically everything. Like, there used to be this debate in games between, like, narrativism and, like, formalism about, like, what was more important in games, like mechanics or narrative. And it's stupid because often they're both the case. But like, I don't know. On the one hand, like, games used to have cheat codes, right? Most games used to be able to just do like turn on invincibility.
True.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Right.
Big head mode.
Big head mode.
DK
we should bring
mode.
back big head mode, DK mode. That I do really think.
Seriously.
So I can see the argument for being like, okay, the reason that cheat codes went away basically is that achievements came out and developers didn't want to have people cheating to get achievements.
I never thought about it that way. That makes sense.
Part of it, I think. Another part is that early on in the DLC era, developers started selling cheats as DLC, which isn't great. But
or behind an amiibo.
Oh my god, I fucking hate amiibo so much.
I know.
But like, to me, like, yeah, a game like Hollow Knight, that's a really weird one to pick because that game's story, I mean, I've only played little bits of it. I actually kind of bounced off it, but it's so atmospheric, right? It's about like the feel and like it's about the struggle and stuff. Like it's not like some text scrolling up at you telling you what's happening. And if you're looking for like a story, like movies exist.
That seriously,
Right.
what is wrong with like almost any other media? Like, honestly,
I mean, I do get this.
Like,
I get
stories
the
are mostly
idea.
better in other media anyway, and I'm probably gonna get some shit for that. Like, I would say there are very, very few video games that are on par with like
mostly agree
any
with you,
movie almost, you know. And I fucking love video games, obviously, but it's like, you know, it's more like you said, Merritt, kind of more about show me, don't tell me, with like ambiance and like music and just
like
like
it varies. I think like, you know, there have been difficulty settings in games for a long time. So like something like Doom, when Doom Eternal came out last year, I started it on like the second hardest difficulty and it was like brutal. And I was kind of just thinking like I could push through this, but I'm mostly playing this for work. I have like a bunch of other stuff I have to do. So I'm going to turn it down. But like, and so it's sort of built in this way where it's like allows you to sort of choose how intense it's going to be. But I don't think that approach works for every game. And when people say something like, you know, Dark Souls is always the big one that people bring up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, first of all, Dark Souls is not like when people say Dark Souls is a hard game, like I would refute that premise because like, what does that even mean? Right? Like that game is meant to be played. Like I actually really despised those games until I played through all of them earlier this year. And what changed things for me was streaming them and like having people on a call with me and like, you know, talking me through stuff. It's really fun. Like that's how those games are meant to be played.
Yeah.
Like
I've considered it before.
They're like old NES games where like you would be sharing tips with your friends and you would be doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I did that with the original Legend of Zelda. Was like the game was so cryptic, but it was fun having the chat be like, oh no, you have to like go like two like squares over, one up, and hit the ball. You know,
burn the
ball
bush or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So like, and then Dark Souls also has all of these built-in methods to change the difficulty. Like if you're having trouble with a boss, you can summon a friend and like they can make it much, much easier. You can grind, you can do all of this stuff that, like I feel like those games have gotten a weird reputation as being like hardcore, hard video games.
Oh,
but, like,
yeah.
No, they're just really well made. And like the fact that I think people think they're hard because they don't do the thing that most games do now of being like, just outright power fantasies of like, you're infallible. You're like the player god. Everything is for you. And there should be media that does that. Like there should be movies that call out voyeurism of audiences. There should be games that have some resistance.
Sure.
And I think that there's also like, you know, I'm an adult man and I am busy and I'm not going to play every single video game that's out there. And there are a lot of hard games. Like I've never touched Dark Souls and I might one day, but it's also one of those things where it's like, yeah, this feels like an undertaking and I just don't want to do it right now. Like,
my life is hard
you have
mode.
you have to prioritize. If it's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, I just want to play some easy game where I just move around or whatever. It's just like, there are games like that out. Like not every single game. It's like not every movie caters to every audience, but
and that's kind of a problem now too. People kind of want that as well.
Yeah,
where it's like you have to, you know.
Yeah, I have a problem with that too because it's like there's some things that are made for everybody, and then or quote unquote everybody. Like I don't think that that's even an attainable thing.
Yeah.
But then there's other things that are like, listen, like I was at this point in my life when I made this movie, and I'm making it about these people, and it doesn't, you know, how much like. How many different like international movies are there that are like that become these weird breakthrough hits in the United States, and then like we try and capitalize that? We try and capitalize on that in American media, and it doesn't work because we don't have an understanding of other people's societies as well as they do. And the reason that some of those movies work is because they're so specific to a certain cultural aspect.
Like they're making that fucking I think HBO series based on Parasite.
Oh gosh.
Just that's exactly what I'm talking about.
No,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it's just like same thing for video games. It's like, you know, you hone in on a certain idea or a certain concept or something like that. And it's like, it doesn't have to appeal to everything, to everyone. You don't have to play every video game that's out there. Like play what you want to play. It's not fucking
the other thing
homework.
is too, is like I kind of get, I get the attraction of like having a game that, because I do think there also is a difference between just like a movie and like a game, even if it doesn't offer a lot of like challenge. Like there is something about just like doing something with your hands and feeling like you're having input on what's happening. But there are some games that like I have never played, but I like watching people play or like watching videos about, like simulation games and strategy games. I don't have the patience for a lot of them, but I love watching videos of people breaking those games and just like doing dumb shit in them.
Totally.
And so, like, there are all these other ways. Like, I could see this could be more of an argument if it were, like, 1980. But the fact that, like, Twitch and YouTube and everything exist, and, like, you could just watch someone play through something if you don't want to put in the time to do it, to me, renders, like, a lot of this stuff moot.
Really quick. Did something fuck up, Grant?
Nope. I just realized that I forgot to hit record on OBS, so we don't have video for this one. But, you know, it's whatever, it's fine.
Whatever, man. Fuck.
At this point, with how my week's been going, just whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
Are we going to talk about the Afghanistan guy?
Yeah, but yeah. I want to say too, Merritt, you touched on a point where like this girl has a disclaimer where like it's so safe and everything, where she like has to put a thing where like she didn't want to offend people who like play hard video games. It's like, and it wasn't. Yeah, like what the fuck was that? You know?
Well, I don't want to upset you. If you do make video games a priority, that's okay too. Like, well, it's just like you can. That to me, I mean, like that's not this person's problem. That's more of a symptom of like online, where like if you say something, someone can be like, "Oh, but you didn't consider this," and it's like that's because that idea is completely like unrelated to what I was talking about. But yeah, no, it's annoying.
But yeah, to punish her though, I'm trying to think of a good one. I was gonna say death by Funko Pops again, but
I feel like life should be easy mode, you know? And then you realize like, oh, maybe sometimes having a little bit of difficulty is good sometimes. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe that's too philosophical.
Hey, it builds character, they say.
I don't know. Yeah. People play games for all kinds of different reasons. So
Exactly. Yeah, let's move on to the...
In conclusion, video games are a land of contrasts.
Exactly. As is all media. But let's move on to the Afghanistan vet soy boy.
Oh, my God.
Grant, that wasn't on my 2021 bingo card.
It should have been, because this guy, I don't know if he's popped up on the show before, but
I've never seen him before.
He had like another video come out around the election that was like, everybody should vote for Joe Biden type of video. And he was like very enthusiastic, and then was sort of feeding off the fact that everyone was sort of giving him hate for his unique like disposition towards his delivery, you know?
Sure.
But here's yet another video from this guy.
Gosh, what a fun weekend I'm having. Hey, if you're one of those people attacking veterans on the internet for lamenting the fall of Afghanistan, you're a bad person. I don't much care for your half-formed thoughts about American imperialism as you attack the very people that end-stage capitalism forced into the military. Why don't you go look up how they recruit, huh? Really don't love how you all keep ignoring all the horrific things the Taliban has done throughout history in your scramble to criticize the U.S. or the 41 other countries that are part of the International Security Assistance Force, which was in Afghanistan. Frankly, I don't think you care at all about the people of Afghanistan. You just want to yell at people on the internet and take a huge problem and make it small so that you can attack me instead of, doing the internal work of realizing that international conflict is messy and complicated.
Trying to argue
often has good and bad parts. But what would I know? I was only a part of it. And no, I don't feel bad for going. I was a medic. And nothing you can say will change my opinion of the things that I did and experienced there. I helped the people of Afghanistan. Have you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't join the American military mission. I mean, like, you could have been a medic. You could have done medic stuff at home. Like, just there's so much here to like.
Could have been a doctor without a border.
That fucking zoom at the end, though. Like, I hope the people of Afghanistan have you. Like, that is just bone chilling. Like.
It's like a Tim Allen.
He'd be good on TikTok.
Tim Allen would
might be on TikTok.
Yeah. He might be, but he's probably not as fun as we would like.
Yeah, you're probably right. He'd be like, yeah, you gotta, he'd have some interesting things to say about the vaccine, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so first of all, curious. that this person's name is Patrick Lawler, and yet
yeah, I thought that too. I'm like,
it is us who are lolling at him.
Got his ass.
But it's just like, yeah, I mean, there's so much obvious, like, just cringe, right? Of just like the superhero stuff in the background, the Joss Whedon-esque kind of like delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Even like the way he's got the thick rimmed glasses, the patchy beard. I mean, the guy seems like a fucking plant. Like it's almost like too perfect.
Yeah, it's an op for sure.
Yeah. I like how Leo in the chat here says he's trying to argue with the rogues gallery he wishes he had.
Oh my god!
It's like he invented a straw man that's attacking him specifically and responding to that person that doesn't exist. Like, and unless this is sort of like a long, like he's having like some back and forths with some people and stuff like that, but it's just like, I don't know.
He's committing so many sins here because, I mean, he's inventing a guy.
Yep.
He's
Cardinals are number one.
Getting mad about this guy. Just like the stuff at the end too about like, oh, international relations are complicated. And it's like, in many cases, that is true. But like, all you're doing by saying that here is just covering up for the U.S. military. Like, it's like, what is complicated about all of the fucking people who died? Like, it's like there's the argument he's making, and then it's like the added layer of the TikTok tropes and everything. Just it feels so nasty and weird. It's like upsetting. Yeah.
God.
It's like I want to crawl out of my skin.
Seriously,
so
yeah. I feel like my
learning that he was a Funko Pop collector. Like people were posting those images of like, everyone thinks it's great to date a Funko Pop collector until, and then it's like, him
oh my god, that was him.
Was that him?
That was him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. It's weird to me. It's so bizarre to me that you could like go travel across the world and like that. It speaks to the strength, I think, of American rhetoric that you could travel across the world to this place that's like, you know, far away from anywhere you've ever been and deal with this kind of suffering and be involved in causing this kind of suffering and come away from that believing what I did was good. And because there are so many people there are so many veterans who I've seen talk about this stuff who are just like, it was fucking horrible. I regret it. Like we were used and like, but we played a part in it. And it, you know, we have to take responsibility for that in some way. And this guy's just like, no responsibility. Everything I did was good. I'm one of the good guys. I'm Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. All cops are bad, except for like me. I'm not bad, you know, like, sure, I covered up for my friends, but I'm not bad, you know.
I help the people of the city. Have you,
Batman? Like,
he really. Is that going to be like the fucking? They got the new Batman movie coming out. The Riddler is just going to be like have like a TikTok affect.
Maybe
Riddle me this, Batman, and cuts to like, what has 8 legs and crawls around
on his face.
Yeah, that would be actually really good. Yeah,
I know. Now that I'm saying it, I'm like, I kind of want to see that.
I don't think so, Tim. Yeah, and there's also like I think I talked about it a little on last week's episode in my Key to the City segment, which was I talked about that Big Joel video and like Twitter and anti-intellectualism, and this just feels like an evolution of that, where it's just like, yeah, there's complexities to all of these things and stuff like that, but like this is not the response to any of that, because like there's a lot to take into consideration. And even if you're the quote unquote good guy of this, like the fact that you don't understand your role in the sort of bigger, grander aspect of everything that happened, and that like you don't sort of own up to that, and like you just double down and you have to make these sarcastic videos attacking people that are attacking you, as opposed to like, I don't know, like listening to people and engaging with them and like good faith and stuff like that. It's just like, no, I have to be as sarcastic as possible and zoom in on my face as close as you can while still seeing my eyes and mouth in the frame.
Yeah, make sure you got my TikTok handle on screen if anybody wants to kind of follow me.
Right.
You know?
Okay. And so another weird thing too is like he almost seems to have like some self-awareness when he's like, look up how they recruit. And so it's like, okay, so you're making the argument that like people in the military are used by and tricked, but then you don't express any like. Then you're like, it's good that I was tricked into this because I helped people. Like, it doesn't even. It's like he's trying to convince himself.
Yeah, it is he's doing like walking a weird line here. It's just a weird dance.
I think a lot of us are trying to convince ourselves of a lot of things at a lot of
That's
times.
True. That is true.
Absolutely. I got a good punishment for him.
Yeah.
I think a witch
Death by Funko Pop, is that going to make
No. I think a witch should place a curse on him, turning him into a Funko Pop, immortalizing him, and it'll say like American hero or like veteran on the package, and he sits there on his shelf. And it's like I'm like imagining it like a movie in my head, where like the camera's zooming out from like him in the box, and we just see like slowly panning out. We see all the other Funko Pops on the shelf, and he's just lost in a sea of dead-eyed Funko Pops, and he just gets to live with all of his Funko Pops for the rest of his, well, I guess forever, because he's a Funko Pop and never dies.
Until the sun explodes. Someone also brought up that
I was just gonna say, until he gets taken out of his packaging and someone pops open the lid and unscrews a mason jar and places him right in the middle of the mason jar.
No.
And I'll just leave the rest to imagination.
And he's a Funko Pop, so there's nothing he can do.
Now, but that might actually be like, he might be into that. So. What if I was a widow, helpless Funko Pop?
Wouldn't that be terrible? Hey, what if we I don't know.
I hope no witch turns me into a Funko Pop. That would be horrible.
Unless blushing emoji.
Yeah.
Let's move on to no more TikTok anymore.
Let's switch to a different website, OnlyFans. So apparently
today, OnlyFans announced that they are restricting their policies for people who use the platform, make a living off the website. I'm going to pull up, right, there's a key quote here I want to pull up from the article, though. It says, so effective October 1st, 2021, OnlyFans will prohibit the posting of any content containing sexually explicit conduct in order to ensure the long-term sustainability of the platform and to continue to host an inclusive community of Grant, you're scaring me with that cough.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. We must evolve our
Funny
content.
Joke.
Yeah, thank you. We call that a callback in the biz. We must evolve our content guidelines. Creators will continue to be allowed to post content containing nudity as long as it is consistent within our acceptable use policy. These changes are to comply with the request of our banking partners and payout providers. We'll be sharing more details on this in the coming days, and we'll actively support and guide our creators through this change in content guidelines. So, I don't know all the information on this, and it does seem like, the jury may still be out on this.
As of like today, they made this announcement, so this is fresh.
But a lot of the headlines were saying OnlyFans is restricting sexually explicit content. And I guess I really didn't explain what OnlyFans was, because for some reason I'm assuming that everybody who's listening knows what it is. But if you don't know what it is, mostly, I want to say 99.99999% of people making their living or making money off OnlyFans are doing it via naked pictures, naked videos.
Right. And there's differing levels of it that people can...
Or not even naked. Maybe you're just in lewd clothing.
You're still gonna be allowed to do nude stuff, but like anything at all sexual. And not, people were saying, oh no, it's just the things that are in their current TOS. That's not true. Like, they are changing their TOS as of October 1st. And like, to people who have been following this kind of stuff, this is not a new development or really that surprising. A lot of people I know who use that platform were sort of kind of like waiting for this to happen.
Nico in the chat says apparently their Twitter is telling people privately that it isn't true. Why would they publish something wrong? And then this happens with a lot of tech platforms. There's a really organized anti-trafficking movement in the US that's sort of made up of like a weird jumble of like Christian right,
feminist organizations, Nicholas Kristof, your Captain Save-A-Hos, people like that. And they are the ones who have put pressure on payment processors to basically say, like, if you accept or if you work with this site, you are helping child trafficking or helping sex trafficking occur, with no evidence really, or like, just basically, oh, that's scary, sex trafficking, that's horrible. And like, yeah, we all agree that it is horrible and no one should be forced into any kind of work that they don't want to do. But like, really what this ends up doing is pushing people out of these sites, taking away people's livelihood. And
yeah, that's got to be scary for a lot of people who did find, financial success from this.
Yeah. And I think, some people, I think like a lot of guys, maybe not a lot, but like some guys will like look at this and be like, oh, good. Like they'll have to get a real job. Most people on OnlyFans aren't making like, millions of dollars. Like those are the outliers. Right. Most people on the platform are making a little bit of money. They're either supplementing their income or they're making enough to get by. It's a payment processor thing, right? And that's what it's been for like every app or every site that has done this is people have pressured MasterCard and Visa, and they've said, all right, well, we don't want to support trafficking. So, basically, it's people get caught in, the collateral in this war against, I mean, listen, like modern slavery and stuff does exist, but it really has like white slavery overtones to it. This trafficking stuff of like, we've got to protect like our girls against these like threatening, foreign men.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, it's a bummer. I think, like a lot of, again, like I think a lot of people saw it coming in. We're waiting for the bubble to burst. But
it's like MoviePass. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right. This is just like MoviePass.
It's just like MoviePass. And like people will say, oh, why don't sex workers make their own platform? They have tried. Like the problem is it's at the payment processor level.
Right, because if they make their own platform and MasterCard's still like, we're blocking your, like, that doesn't fix anything.
It doesn't fix
it. Doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
They have a stranglehold on the entire fucking American economy, and I mean, the entire world economy. But like, I think, because something similar happened, I think we talked about it on the show a couple months ago with Pornhub and this type of stuff. And I think that as a result, Pornhub changed their like verification process and took down, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of videos and stuff like that in order to comply with new standards, which I mean, is good. I think that that's good. And you do want to fight against those things. But it's just like, the idea that there's people out there in the world that are just like, porn's bad and we can't really get it stricken down in the courts. So we're just going to eradicate it from the entire internet, literally just by going after people's paychecks is like, not good.
JuneBat in the chat here asks, can they make one that uses crypto?
That's like in before someone's like, oh, Bitcoin. Like, I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure things like that have happened. They just haven't caught on yet. But I don't know. It's like, it sucks. It's like, and I actually don't know all the details. I think like they may not have heard. A lot of the times in these cases, it's not like MasterCard or Visa tell them we're not supporting you. Basically, just like the site makes a decision to be like, oh, we don't want to get shut down or whatever. So we've decided to preemptively do this. To preemptively, do that stuff. And
I did want to go over some of the alleged information here that the terms of service may or may not be changing in accordance to. So it says, things that are not allowed are incest, bestiality, violence, rape, lack of consent, hypnosis, intoxication, sex assault, torture, sadomasochistic abuse, or hardcore bondage, extreme fisting, or genital mutilation.
Light fisting is fine.
Yeah, fisting. MasterCard will let that pass, but
no bigger than a
plum.
Well, I was going to say a diameter size, but I don't really know what diameter.
Take a plum. If it's bigger than that, no dice.
Hey, but plums come in different sizes.
I once heard
that. You have to say like tennis ball. That's like a standard.
Yeah. I once heard there was this whole thing in the 80s or maybe 70s. I forget when like the porn laws, basically a bunch of the lawyers for like the major porn companies went around and were like, okay, there's the law that says basically like if like the I know it if I see it, or if it's like if the community would describe it as obscene. That's what obscenity is. And so they went around and basically made a list of things that they thought would be considered obscene, and sort of preemptively made sure that people followed that. And one of them was fisting. And I once had it explained to me that it's probably because when people hear fisting, they think of someone just like punching someone in the asshole or whatever. When it's much more of like it's like making a little talking duck with your hand.
Maybe that's the delineation between light and extreme.
The old Italian.
It's like the Italian.
Gesture.
Yeah, it's the Italian hand gesture. That's how you do it. It's much
like
less violent than the term
country.
implies. Yeah, exactly. Old country style fisting. But yeah, those things are all banned right now. But
and some people are saying they're attributing this to somebody named Bella Thorne, I guess. And I think we talked about this on the show once.
Right.
I can't remember what the hell we talked about last week.
She was like
but I don't know what I
person.
had for breakfast.
Yeah, she was like a Disney in some Disney like made for TV movies or something like that. But,
is it like one of those things where she started an OnlyFans and then Disney was like, well, considering the fact that we own you as our intellectual property, the fact that you're on this platform means that we have some sort of
no,
I don't know if they still own
stake?
her. I think she may have like graduated from that whole system and then was sort of just famous as like a hot person.
Right, it's like that. Back in the day, usually you just get an acting gig in Harmony Korine Spring Breakers,
right?
Back in the day,
but now it's like we got OnlyFans, so people just go straight to that.
Well, I was gonna say, wouldn't it be more akin to like when there were famous people that would like pose in Playboy, like that was a thing.
Yeah,
true.
That was a thing.
Yeah. But I guess what happened with her was she scammed OnlyFans users into paying $200 each to see a nude photo of her. Only to be given boudoir style shots.
Wow.
I don't know what does boudoir mean?
It's like in that Seinfeld episode when George is posing in his underwear and socks.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's what
I got an OnlyFans, Jerry. You got an OnlyFans.
You should pitch that to
modern Seinfeld.
Yeah, modern Seinfeld.
What if George get OnlyFans?
And it turns into The Contest 2.
Oh my God.
Kramer is like,
George's too sexy. We can't not.
I jerked off to George. I'm out.
But yeah,
I'm by, Jerry.
It's just like, I don't know. I think anyone who is like concerned about, like whatever your feelings are about sex work, I think if you're someone who is concerned about like, freedom or like, the right to live without overreach of corporations and things, like the fact that a few companies basically decide like what is and is not obscene should really scare you.
It's grim and a little bit terrifying in a way. Like again, like even if you're not involved, it's just like
I think it's also one of those things where the people that are the most concerned about government overreach are also the people that want to see these people like not make any money and suffer. And it's usually the people that have the yellow flag and also the blue flag. They have both flags.
Gadsden flag.
It's one of those types.
Yeah,
of things.
You would think Gadsden flag people would be like, entrepreneurship, stuff like that. But then a lot of those people do also just like hate women. So not all of them, but many of them I think are like, I saw some people, randos today, like, now you're gonna have to go flip burgers. It's like.
And they're going to complain about like, and they're paying them $15 an hour. Come on,
right?
Like, you might just need to work through your stuff about. Other people.
I think, maybe that's just I got a punishment.
Yeah,
MasterCard, you need to go to therapy.
Oh damn!
Probably
MasterCard will literally shut down OnlyFans rather than going to therapy.
Yeah. I'm gonna like write on like my credit card bill just says like underlining like different parts of my credit card statement, be like, they need to go to therapy. This looks like obvious red flags for manipulation and all that kind of. I don't want to pay my bill.
Junebat in the chat brings up a good point. They say masturbate card.
There it is.
That's so true. Many are saying
that'll be the new payment processor platform.
That's what's so great about this show is we can have these complex, nuanced conversations, and at the end we're just like masturbate card.
Masturbate card, yeah.
There it is. wrap it up.
We did it, Reddit.
Let's move on to something positive, though. Something nice. Something swell. I'm talking about Thought Cop's Key to the City. We're giving out a key to Neo Chicago to something good. And my key to the city this week goes to Danny DeVito. So I guess on Wednesday, Danny DeVito expressed solidarity with striking Nabisco workers. He said, support Nabisco workers striking for humane working hours, fair pay, and outsourcing jobs. He said, no contracts is no snacks. And then guess what? Twitter took away his blue check mark.
Cancel culture strikes again.
Unbelievably petty. And
I know.
Like,
you that doesn't
like
happen very often.
No, but like, what a just like dork move to be like, you just picture Jack like, well, all right, Mr. DeVito, 2 can play at that game. Presses the button that takes the check away. And it's like, my man has like 4 million followers. No one's not going to think he's Danny DeVito. Like, all you've done is
your badge, your gun.
Yeah, you've just made him look cooler, if anything.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like, that's just the state of things, you know? But yeah, he gets my key to the city for, you know, standing up for the workers who are striking. And then, you know what? Yeah, he should change his handle to Real Danny DeVito so people know it's him.
Good point.
Yeah. God, what a cool dude. And I don't like to stan celebs very often because I think more to balance out celeb culture, I think more people should like detest all celebs. But Danny DeVito, just like if I could party with like any celeb, I think it would probably be him. Like there's
incredible.
A while where my friends and I were like trying to figure out a way to make it happen. And we never got very far because then COVID happened and we were kind of screwed. But I think I've read that he said like he doesn't really do drugs anymore, but if he's out somewhere and someone offers him some, he will. I would love to smoke PCP with Danny DeVito. Imagine what that would be like.
It's a good policy to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's there.
I'm not going to buy on I mean, it is kind of like, you know, a little bit like you're that guy. But if you're Danny DeVito, who isn't excited to give you drugs, right?
But it's like going to the blue check mark thing, though, or whatever. It's like there's so many people like fucking, oh my God, Nick Fuentes, people like that who still.
Well, he doesn't have a Twitter account anymore.
Oh,
but
well,
yeah, there's a lot
of
of like basically avowed Nazis that have blue check marks. And it's like, you're going to go after Danny DeVito?
Yeah. Right. One of the most beloved men working in the industry today.
Truly is. Merritt, you got anything good for us? Key to the city?
I was going to say Danny DeVito. And
you could give it to him too.
I don't want to live in a world where I have a blue check and Danny DeVito doesn't. So I feel like I want to like lock my account and unlock it to take it away.
Would you offer yours up to Danny if
absolutely I would.
Here's some PCP, here's a blue check mark.
If Danny DeVito needed my kidney, I would offer it to him. I'd be like, yeah, if this extends Danny DeVito's time on this earth by like a few years, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
I think all the blue checks have to raise their arms up and offer their spirit energy to son Danny DeVito.
Yeah, charge his spirit bomb. Throw it at Twitter headquarters.
That'd be amazing.
I'm trying to think
what do you got, though?
Anything else good?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mary. If you have anything else positive.
I'm just trying to think if anything else good has happened this week, and like I can't think of anything. I pay attention.
It's
to
honestly the hardest.
Stuff.
It's the hardest part of the show. Is like,
it's hardest part of every week.
It's good, though. It's good. Nice thing you should pay attention to that stuff, right? Like you should notice I think those things.
Yeah, we had to add it at some point because it was like this is too much, like, you know.
Oh, here's the thing.
It's all too much.
Here's the thing I like. There's this guy on YouTube named Johnny Matragano. And basically he's like an amateur voice actor and he does like a ton of stuff, but the thing that I see all the time is these Duke Nukem videos where he'll just voice Duke Nukem like flawlessly, like a flawless John St. John, just saying like the dumbest fucking shit. And I'm sure you could like find one if you went on YouTube, but
yeah, we're looking it up here.
Here I'll drop one in the chat. But yeah, he just has this bit that he's just doing, and I'm like, yeah, dude, just go for it. And I love this bit of like himbo Duke Nukem.
Sorry, ladies, I have a date tonight. A play date. You wouldn't get it.
I like how he even has the filter over it, so it sounds like that same audio quality from like.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's nailed it. Like he's just flawless with it. So
yeah, that was perfect.
And that guy also, I think he does like a lot of his videos. He does like that thing YouTube will let you do now, where like you can have people like donate money to different things if they like the video. So I think he's raised a bunch of money for stuff. So seems like a cool dude. Yeah.
One day I hope to have enough money of my own to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be great.
To give then receive.
Yeah. You know, it's like I need all the money I can get right now. But when I have enough money, it's like, what do I need all this money for?
Yeah, right.
Fuck do you do with it?
Look at it.
Speaking of looking at things, my key to the city this week goes to, I don't know, here's maybe not something so necessarily internet related, but something positive. I stayed up all night watching White Lotus, and that was pretty cool.
Oh, right. Is that the HBO show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than I thought it would be. You know, I feel like I saw a bunch of clips on Twitter of people being like, the writing on this show is terrible. Look at these people talking about like these Zoomers using Zoomer speak, and it's like, yeah, but that's kind of how kids talk. You know,
like those two girls or whatever.
Yeah, so there's been like a couple clips
based off Red Scare, apparently.
Is that true?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
well, that's funny.
I mean, next season they'll have two guys who maybe they're based off us.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a fairly interesting show, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought that I would have.
Cool.
I feel like it sort of sucks you into a vortex, and you just come out the other side, and you're like, huh, that was a weird experience. So
hey, maybe I'll watch it and we can review it for Fire Bros.
I'd be down to. I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about surrounding it.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
Interesting show. Check it out.
Check it out. This week's Thought Cops Word of the Week. Oh, we don't have one. Oh, crap. Oh, no. Merritt, is there something that... No, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Was Sneed your word last week?
I don't think we got to it.
We didn't get to it, but like I don't really know what to say about it.
It's old at this point. There's nothing you can say
exactly.
about it. God, what is
the other ones on there is kind of like
the week?
I don't know. Grant, you got anything? Anyone in the chat? Something?
Any words?
It's like there always is something, you know. Oh, yeah. I do have one. Buster.
Oh,
it's boy. It's something you say to someone when you're lecturing on TikTok. Also applicable. Bucko,
champ,
or
champ.
Champ.
Is a good one.
Yeah. Nico says it's not a buster. I get it. There's another term for buster. That's not the one I'm talking about.
Or like a
scrub is
like a scrub
guy. Yeah, he thinks he's fly, and he's also known as a buster.
That's true.
I know she says
this guy absolutely does think he's fly, though. So
Buster is the Chad version of a dog, apparently. A
dog that white women want to fuck. How are guys supposed to compete with Chad Thunderknot? You know,
that's what I say. There's so many fucking jacked pit bulls out there. I'm like, dude, I gotta hit the gym.
Yeah, I mean, white girls fuck dogs. White girls fuck dogs, right? I mean, I shouldn't be telling you that, but.
She says it's called the dog pill. All right. Oh, that's enough of this.
That's real. That is real. Don't look it up.
We're gonna get kicked off OnlyFans.
But yeah, absolutely you are. Yeah. God, there are usually so many great words. Sneed was fun because I actually learned what that joke was when that was going around like a few weeks ago. It got me to actually learn what the joke was in the Simpsons episode. Because as a kid, I was like, what? Previously known?
Yeah, same for me.
Like,
yeah,
what is that? It's like a very weird joke. And then like, last month I was like, oh yeah, nice. Cool.
But they I guess like people were like, do I really want to get it? Do I want to get into this, Grant? Do I have to?
It's old at this point. There's like no reason to.
You're
sort
right.
of brought it up.
Right. Yeah, but I don't have to like,
Don't have to engage with it further.
Let's give a shout out to two new Patreons. This patrons, subscribers, patrons, whatever you want to call them. People who donated to us on patreon.com/thoughtcops. God Monster and
Spooky.
And Lakembra. Welcome back. Welcome back to the fold, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, we got listener voicemails coming up. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on the show. Give us a call, 312-788 7361, or you can always send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com.
But before we get to that segment, Merritt, do you want to plug any links
dude.
you got?
I hit this wall every time, and I've done this fucking 225 times, and every time in this part of the show, Grant, you got to take the wheel as soon as we get past the.
I think maybe that'll be the new.
As soon as we get past word of the week, I need you to like.
I mean, it's like drinking water, right? How many times have you drank water in your life? But like, there's still a chance it's going to go down the wrong pipe, and you wouldn't think that would happen, but you know, it does. We're fallible. We're human.
Does, and then sometimes you can't even do anything about it.
Yeah. Check out the Fanbyte podcasts. I'm on one of them right now. It's called Channel F. That's the one where we actually talk about video games. But there's
any interesting topics, games of recent episodes you want to mention?
I feel like just the people we have on it, it's like so wide ranging because like I actually am not playing a ton of games right now just because I'm mostly doing podcast stuff. But like I feel like most recently, like we talked about like one of my coworkers, Nikki Grayson, talked about Splitgate, which is like sort of just came out on consoles. It's like this Halo plus Portal. And then I was talking about the Space Invaders collection that just came out. So it's like we try to do like a pretty broad range of stuff.
Sounds like it. Because
we have a fairly broad range of interests too. So also, listen to our show You Love to See It, which is a movie podcast. And a lot of people got really mad at us today. It was actually really funny. They're doing a creature feature month. So like all just like horror movies. And they did Crawl, which was about gator or crocodile, I think.
Yeah.
And so our social person tweeted, just like, what's scarier than an alligator? Nothing. This is the scariest thing there is, like as like just like a stupid joke. And people were just like, humans? And then one guy at least was like, you are contributing to the genocide of alligators with this kind of comment.
Oh, is that what that was? Yeah, because I saw you guys had to like put out a statement.
We put out then we put out a notes apology that was like, we are so sorry for besmirching the name of alligators. And like, we are truly the worst animals because no other animal posts and we do. We're so sorry.
A good point.
So
terrifying.
But it's a good podcast and it attracts sickos sometimes, but that's fine. But yeah, podcastnet.work or just fanbyte.com/podcasts. Just check them out.
And any social media you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm at Merritt K. Fanbyte is at Fanbyte Media. It's not at Fanbyte. That's just some guy. And Jack won't give it to us because he's too busy taking Danny DeVito's checkmark away.
Which is why we are on Twitter at Real Thought Cops, because there's this guy sitting on at Thought Cops for like 6 years, hasn't posted.
Hick from the sticks.
Yeah.
That to me is like, it's like leaving housing vacant. It's like, it's a moral issue. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. Like the government should step in and redistribute these usernames to people who are going to make use of them. And I think everyone will be better off as a result.
That's what I'm saying.
We got our eye on you, Chris. Anyway, let's go ahead and play these voicemails on.
And good evening to you Thought Cops. Kevin and Grant, it is I, Leo the Incredible, calling into your voicemail, as I usually do.
Oh, we know.
I hope everything is going well.
Yes.
Hello, Grant.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
I want you to look at Kevin and shake your head in shame. Kevin?
What the fuck?
Lower Decks. I know you are not a Trekkie, but Lower Decks, I know you were joking, but I can't forget it. That's the one you would start with? Star Trek, you would start with Lower Decks? My God, man, you're insane. You would take something so precious and you would see it destroyed. You would smash it under your lower. I'm beyond words.
Never heard him get so heated.
I am devastated that it was a joke. I know it was a joke, but I can't accept it as a joke. Kevin, go watch Wrath of Khan and get back to me. Kevin, I don't know what to say. Grant?
What?
Make words happen for me and shake your head in disappointment. Gentlemen, I hope you have a great night.
Thank you, Leo.
Okay, making words happen. What's this nerd shit?
So I put up this post on Twitter last night where I was like, it's interesting how everybody who consumes and interacts with TV shows now is like aware of the TV season. Like, oh, there's a new season of whatever dropped on Netflix. But it's like back in the day, we really didn't know that terminology, like seasons of TV shows, because like,
I guess, yeah, because you would just turn on TV and it
right.
Be
like sometimes the episodes were new, sometimes they were reruns. Like typically, if it was like a primetime show, you knew that the new episodes came back in the fall, they ended in the spring. And really, the term like seasons of TV wasn't like mainstream popularized until like DVD box sets started coming out. Like,
sure,
because I remember like getting the Simpsons season 1 DVD box set in like 2001, and I'm like, oh, a season, okay, that's just like a, you know, the year that was out, and that makes sense.
They call them series in Britain.
I don't like that. I'm just gonna go on record and say I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Because a series to me is the whole thing. A season is like, you know,
like
chunks.
A season, like a season of the year.
Like Low Res Wonder Bread responded to me, and he said something along the lines of like, back in the day when we had VHS collections only, it was like best of compilations were all the rage, and they would just have like a tape that had 3 random episodes on it of whatever show.
So what does this have to do with Star Trek?
Anyway, so Leo responds, and he says that it was better back in the day with because he mentioned Star Trek as an example, where they just kept pumping out episodes all the time. And I was like, well, I kind of prefer the newer method, where nowadays it's like a lot of shows they don't go for like 25, 30 episodes and then stop. Like it's like they just sit down, they write a good 13, and they make sure they're all like, you know, of a certain quality, and they come back maybe a year or two later. And he was saying that, I guess for Star Trek, quantity over quality, where he says the better Star Trek shows are the ones that had more episodes, and the ones that had less episodes were not as good. And I'm like, well, I'm not really a Trekkie, Leo. I'm sorry. I never really got into it. I'm like, where should I start? How about that new cartoon Lower Decks? Because I just know he doesn't like it.
Right.
And so he flipped a lid on me.
You triggered him.
As you guys could hear, he really went off on my ass.
You triggered him.
Yeah.
That show is
so.
Sorry, am I?
No, you're good.
I couldn't actually hear the call, so I'm not sure if I'm still supposed to be.
Oh no, we should have been.
I thought I typed it into. Well,
I basically long-windedly summed up the whole thing anyway, but we'll try to get the next one. You can hear it, but anyway, he was saying that. So Lower Decks is like this, like
I know it.
Rick and Morty kind of.
It looks really
Star
cringe.
Trek, whatever. Yeah. I guess some people say it's good, but again, I'm not really a Star Trek fan. I'm not against the idea of getting into it. So he says, check out Wrath of Khan. Is that really the best place to start? Correct. I know Leo's in the chat here. Maybe you can correct me. And I've heard that's a good one.
Critically
I would
acclaimed.
say Deep Space Nine is like a good series to start with. That's what I started with, because it's like the least Star Trek.
So it's like an easier like entryway.
Yeah, I mean, like the only thing is you might be like let down if you watch other stuff after it, because it's so good that like the others. Because basically what happened was, what's his name died before they started Deep Space Nine, and he had said Gene Roddenberry, and he was like, we can't have conflict between crew members. It's not what the show is about. And when he died, they were like, now we can. So it's just like,
yeah, fuck that.
Everyone lives on an airport. Everyone lives on an airport, and like they're trying to rebuild after this colonizing force has left this like deeply religious planet, and everyone has like a really strong personality and like their own goals and stuff and motivations, and they like come into conflict a lot. But it has the best captain. It has Ben Sisko, who loves baseball, and there's a whole episode where they just play baseball.
And you know what I do find interesting about Star Trek is because I hear from so many people who are like big Star Trek fans. What's cool about it is like no one is like, oh, here's the one best one. I hear different answers from everybody. Like, I'm sorry, Ratbird text in the chat saying Next Generation is his favorite.
Next Generation's really good. Yeah, I haven't seen the original series. I've only seen Deep Space Nine and TNG. I'm not like a huge Star Trek person, but like I did like both of those series. There are like guides too, because like the thing is with when they were cranking out a lot of those shows, a lot of the episodes like weren't very good. So like you can find like guides that are basically like, okay, you can skip these, and if you want to go back later and watch them, you can. But this is just an episode where everyone gets space drunk and Data fucks, so like nothing really happens. I mean, that is a big deal.
That sounds good. I know enough about Data to say if he fucked, that might be kind of fun to watch.
He did. I mean, he did. I think he did on a few occasions. But
I'm also like of the mindset where I'm like very like chronologically minded with a lot of stuff. Where I want to, if I want to like get into something, I'm like, I want to start at the beginning. I know for a lot of stuff, it's like, well, you know,
I know people usually advise against that. I remember trying to do that with Doctor Who, and like some of the early shit, like
way back from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, like the first Doctor stuff, and it's just like it's
my mom watched that stuff growing up.
Yeah.
Nico brings up a very good point. She says, Kevin, that is anime brain speaking. And she's 100% right. And that's why I fucking love anime and manga so much, just because it's like, hey, I want to get into One Piece, for example. It's like, where do I start? I don't have to give you this like list of things to skip, where to start, where to jump. Chapter 1, episode 1, just go there and
it's like there's a lot of it, but you can finish it. Like you can just watch the whole thing or read the whole thing. Whereas like the most I've ever been into like American comics is just like checking in on Wikipedia occasionally. Like, I wonder what Wolverine's up to. Oh, he died and then came back as a dinosaur, and now he's pregnant. Oh, cool. Okay. But like, I'm not going to read all these comics because like none of them, like, it's not, I don't know. And now movies are becoming this too, right? Is they're just becoming like this ongoing thing that like never ends, and there's never like any kind of conclusion. You have to watch all these different movies to know what's happening. And I'm like, no, fuck off. Just tell me a story.
Yeah, I like the approach of just like self-contained sort of things. I mean, I think that there's like a time and place for stuff, but there's so much stuff where it's just like you make the self-contained story and then it's over. And if you want to be involved to a certain point after it, like I think that like the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul thing is sort of like a good thing where it's like, yeah, you can watch this, you can watch this.
Right,
they're sort of intermingled or whatever, but like, you don't have to.
I want to say that, like, from what I can tell, Star Trek is kind of the same thing, and I'm guessing that honestly, probably Breaking Bad writers took cue from that sort of thing, where it's like,
I'm sure that there's a lot of that type of stuff.
We have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there are connections between there are some connections, and like sometimes there are like episodes where like people from a past series will show up. It's like very small though, and like most Star Trek is pretty episodic as well. So you don't like DS9 and later ones get more like, you know, a season is telling a story. But most of like the original series and TNG are just like, we're having a wacky space adventure. And that can be really fun too.
Maybe one of these days I'll dive into any of the 1,000 suggestions of where to begin. And let's hit the next voicemail though. And then we'll make sure, what was the issue? Merritt, I don't know if you were...
Oh yeah, I think, do you have to click watch stream again?
Yeah,
Sleep Science was saying.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, that's my bad.
Or something.
No, it's cool. It's like, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Discord is not the greatest platform.
Now.
No, it's not.
It works. It works for us. It's not good. It's not a good work for us.
You know, I wanted to mention earlier, like really quick. Have you seen that Danny DeVito commercial for Discord?
For Discord?
No,
I didn't watch it, but I just saw when I logged on to Discord, they were like, "We made a video. Discord the movie. Danny DeVito's here." It's like, okay.
Weird. I might be taking away that key to the city. No, I'm just kidding. Let's hit this one, Grant.
I can't believe it's like the 2000s again because mostly TikTok, but Twitter does this too. I just get recommended blatant pro-anorexia and eating disorder content all the time. Like, it'll be like, here's my outfit, but it's very clearly a body check because they start with like their frail body and
I'm not really sure I
emaciated, and then
that's a lot of
the best are like, what I eat in a day, and it's like, here is Elise, here is my coffee, 700 calories, this is so filling. What the fuck? This is so fucked up. Like, it doesn't matter if we should block these people. It just keeps showing up. It's really, really freaking cool.
You gotta learn to start using that block button.
So I kind of caught that.
I guess that eating disorders are now once again in vogue or something.
Well, oh my god! It's LiveJournal all over again.
Yeah, I guess, that's sort of what she's saying, more or less.
By the 2000s coming back.
Yeah,
Okay, I must have missed. I never got a LiveJournal. I missed out on that one.
The only thing that I really participated in is I read Billy Corgan's LiveJournal. That was a trip.
Wow, yeah. That guy got up to some stuff.
Yeah, he's still up to some stuff. Nothing good, but he's up to stuff, definitely.
Is he still on LiveJournal?
No.
I feel like LiveJournal is mostly Russians at this point because a Russian company bought them in like the mid 2000s. And I think it's become like a really popular platform there.
Huh.
Yeah, my first social media was Zonga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure mine was MySpace.
Yeah, I got MySpace like shortly after that.
I think I was an early adapter to high school age Facebook because I think for a while Facebook was only like college, but then you needed to like send people invites.
Yeah, I think I got one in high school too. It was like 2007 maybe. I got one.
Yeah, probably around the same time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in high school and having social media. Whenever I like see people like being hard on Zoomers and stuff, I'm just like, can you imagine growing up, like having social media your whole life? It sounds horrible. Like nothing you do will ever be forgotten by anyone. Like I was just posting on forums and stuff. I had a MySpace in high school and like that was about
forums
it.
Too, yeah.
But yeah, just like posting on forums and you weren't using your real name. You were just like doing whatever. Now it's like, you have a Facebook as a teen? Like you're going to say some dumb shit. And like, I guess probably teens are getting better at not doing that, but it's just like...
I think so, because they've seen how our generation fail so hard. They're like, okay, well, it's,
Right.
I think, MySpace was also like a very insular website, and like you had to like be friends with people to see things, and you couldn't really, like to a certain extent and stuff like that. Like you could sort of curate what you shared and what you didn't share. And I feel like nowadays it's like, bunch of kids are into like TikTok and stuff, and that just goes out to anybody. That goes out to strangers, like,
I think MySpace was, your pages were public unless you chose to set them private, like kind of like Twitter.
Right, but then I think you could also like share certain like they had like the bulletins and stuff like that, and I think that those were like among your friend groups and stuff.
And what was nice about like that era, because I don't think it was, I mean, like there's still some aspect of like toxic cyberbullying or whatever the case. But we had our phones and stuff. It was like, I'd get home, maybe I'll check it for like an hour after school. And like, then I turn it off and
go play video games,
sit on AIM and do whatever.
Right.
But it was definitely, not the same like impact that we're seeing now, of course.
Well, yeah, it was like the internet used to be a place that you would go, like that you would check in on, that you'd be like, oh, I'm going to turn on and like, if you're ancient like me, you would have a dial-up modem and be like, I'm going to log on to the internet and like, message my friends on MySpace or like check the newest posts on the site. And then, like my family has to use the phone and the internet costs money, so I have to log off.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was a place that you went. And now it's sort of just like invaded physical reality, right? It's like like another layer of reality, which is...
Yeah, we talk about that a lot on this show. About
it does seem to be like one of those like things that science fiction writers wrote about in like the 60s and 70s that definitely eventually just came to fruition in a lot different of a way that we would have thought of.
Right.
Like, I think that's where people would look at things like fucking Pokemon Go and whatever, and they'd be like, oh, augmented reality. And it's just like, I don't think that augmented reality is that like there's a character that you can point your camera at. I think that augmented reality is the fact that you're just on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
Like that just never stops. It's just always there. It's just intermeshed with the fucking real world now. It's a lot less exciting than I thought that it would be.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of how a lot of sci-fi stuff works out. Like, we're all reading William Gibson, like, yeah, I'm going to go onto like the net and do all this cool stuff. And it's like, no, it's mostly just people having bad opinions and
it's like
race hate and stuff.
Right.
Like we watched the Jetsons as kids and we're seeing them flying around in like hover cars and stuff like that. But what we didn't see was like the social media they had.
Right.
It's probably obnoxious.
No, they had the good ending of late capitalism. They went into like the good way where like no one invented that.
Yeah.
They took the 50s and they're like, what if the 50s were in outer space? And it's like,
that's what everyone always does though, right? It's like, it's so hard to predict what the future's going to look like. Everyone always just like, oh, it'll be like this, but with more chrome or with like jumpsuits or whatever, right?
Still waiting for those to come in style.
Yeah, there's this like, I think I talked about that writer that talked about acid communism a couple episodes ago, and he had like these like really fascinating opinions on like hauntology and the idea that we've sort of killed off the future because we can no longer sort of engage with what we envision the future to be in any sort of meaningful way. And that scares me.
Are you you're talking about
Mark Fisher?
Mark Fisher, yeah. I've been meaning to read his stuff.
It's really interesting. I've been in that mode of thinking for a while now.
I feel like COVID has put a lot of people in that mode of thinking. Like, I spent a lot of COVID doing cat and listening to city pop and just being like,
nice,
man, what even is like? And city pop is like a really weird dissociative genre because it's like evoking a past or like evoking a future that like never be.
Right.
And it's one of the weirdest genres of music to listen to when you're on a dissociative drug, because you're just like, you feel like out of time. You're just, what is the future?
Yeah.
Like, I like that idea of like not being able to conceive of the future. I think is also like really true. It's
city pop is kind of like you said, like the Jetsons of the 50s in the future. And the city pop is like, what if 80s Japan in the future?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
There's a lot of those types of genres that are like that sort of vapor wavy, sort of retro wavy. Like it's all sort of,
Yeah. Well, that also wraps up our voicemails for the episode. Hey, if that inspired you, go ahead and give us a call, 312-788-7361, or you can always send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, throw us a few bucks over at patreon.com/thoughtcops. You can get all the extra bonus content we got on there, and you can hang out here in the live chat, watch the live video, participate, be a part of the episode. It's a lot of fun. And that also wraps up the episode as well. So, Merritt, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a blast.
I'm glad to hear. And thank you, everybody, for listening or watching or do whatever the hell you want to do to consume our content. We'll see you next time.
See you, Space Cop.